It's the starting five with the sleepers, Monday morning edition. Cat's back. Bachelor party's over. He's home.
I appreciate Jace hopping on. Episode was fire. Couple DMs in my inbox wanting to get rid of me, but come on, man. Cat's got 9 lives. I'm still here. I'm still recording. We're still here.
It's good to see your face, big fella. Shout out to Funk for jumping on. It was a really fun episode. We're definitely going to bring him on again in the future. But Carter Elliott has returned, and with him, a big energy on this Monday morning. A lot of stuff happening in the NBA playoffs. I'm energized. Some big golf news over the weekend, but of course, I have to rock the Ja Morant Grizzlies jersey today because of what I've seen from Ja Morant, and we're going to get to him later in this episode. But first, we are going to start with the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, the crew, the defending champs, are 0-1 in the first round of the NBA playoffs, losing to the Phoenix Suns with a hobbled Chris Paul. Carter, what's the concern level for the Lakers and LeBron right now?
I think we got big issues, to be honest. And typically I don't overreact to game one LeBron teams because, we've seen this story before. Like, people panic, they get off the bandwagon, lose game one, all the hot takes start flying. But I think it's a real cause for concern because Disney has been terrible since he came back from injury. I mean, we actually watched the basketball game yesterday where DeAndre Ayton outplayed Anthony Davis.
Did you call him Disney?
Yeah, Disney. That's his name. That bubble, he fooled us he fooled us.
Oh my God, I was not ready for that.
He literally has been playing like Robert Sacre with a unibrow. Like that dude has been god awful. Like luckily, I like his comments after the game. I mean, he realizes he's ass, so maybe he'll pick it up next game. But like at a certain point, you really got to get it going because this Suns team ain't nothing to play with, for real.
So I'm still laughing at Disney. He was really bad. He was really, really, really bad. He was tentative. Terrible. It looks like he just openly does not want to play the 5 and refuses to bang and refuses to rebound, and he wants to be a shooting guard. Like, I don't get what is up with him mentally right now. I don't think it's physical. I don't think it's that the talent's not there. It looks like there's something up with his mentality and approach to the game. LeBron was LeBron. I mean, if you looked at the plus minus splits and you read my tweets about it, like, they were basically playing an even game, or the Lakers were up 1 to 2 possessions when LeBron was on the floor. He'd go to the bench and the Suns would instantly go on a run. This Suns team is really good, I think, is the other takeaway here. Like, it's great to see Devin Booker in the playoffs. Ayton's better than I thought as a first a front court option in his first playoff game. Chris Paul obviously has a major impact, even though he was hurt. But the Suns role players are like really good catch and shoot guys, 3-and-D guys that are energy guys. Jay Crowder's always playing in playoff series and just mucking things up. Mikal Bridges, he didn't shoot the ball great, but you know that he's just like a good 5th option on the floor. And that's the biggest thing that stuck out to me right now, is that with the Lakers, it reminded me of the Warriors, where you can't trust their role players at all. And even if you look at last year when they won the title, like, they at least had Rondo, who like is a guy in the playoffs. And like, right. I know there were jokes about it, but Danny Green is a proven NBA champion guy that even if he's missing shots, like, he's going to do the right things. Right now, the Lakers dudes are like Talen Horton-Tucker and Alex Caruso. And I just don't trust those guys right now.
I don't trust them at all either. And, I think it even goes down to the Lakers strategy-wise getting beat on the X's and O's. Monty Williams is doing a phenomenal job, with this Suns team, the young Suns team. And Frank Vogel sometimes looks frustrated and looks like he doesn't really know what to do out there. I mean, obviously he's probably frustrated as the players are, but sometimes I look over and he's just holding that clipboard, just looking like a blank slate, just looking like, what am I supposed to do? And I think that one of the biggest mistakes that we might be able to look back on is the fact that the Lakers really didn't want to give up Talen Horton-Tucker for Kyle Lowry in that trade. I mean, how good would a piece like Kyle Lowry be in the playoffs right now? Because right now you're watching the Lakers play with third options that changes every single game. Like, it'd be Caruso, let's get real. Alex Caruso.
It's Alex Caruso.
Yes, he's bald. Yes, he plays hard. Yes, we love him. Like the headband meme is great, but let's actually get real here. Like Alex Caruso is not the third best option on an NBA championship team ever.
Here's the problem with guys like Alex Caruso, though, and this is the problem with both the Warriors and the Lakers for me. After watching, it was so abundantly obvious is that their role players either have to be more than role players or think they're more than role players. Like the guys that I just named on last year's, like Rondo and Danny Green and all the Suns dudes, Mikal Bridges, all them, like they're happy being the fifth option. Fucking, you look at the Warriors and they're running shit through, what's his name? Toscano Anderson. Like they're literally having him be so involved. Andrew Wiggins thinks he's a go-to scorer. Jordan Poole is never going to not be aggressive. That's what the Lakers look like to me right now. Like Alex Caruso is in there to fucking do shit. Like he's too involved for the level of basketball player that Alex Caruso is. And I don't like that. I'd be terrified if I'm a Lakers fan right now. I don't want to do the thing where we overreact because this happens every year. And like it's one playoff game.
Do it, G.
I am just saying it's a bad matchup. There's something about this that feels different than most early playoff season LeBron struggles. And I'm not ready to pick against them yet, but I'd be a lot more confident if they were matched up with the Utah Jazz without Donovan Mitchell or without some other teams in the West.
Yeah, and I'm not picking against them either, but I don't think anyone really saw that Ayton performance coming either. Like I was already talking about how Ayton was going to get cooked on the defensive end. You can't really catch the ball, but I mean, he showed out yesterday and he was by far clearly the best big on the court in a game with Anthony Davis.
Yeah, he punked Anthony Davis. DeAndre Ayton punked Anthony Davis. That's what just happened. It feels wrong saying that, but here we are. All right. Well, we will see. I'm excited to see where this series goes. Hopefully Chris Paul comes back healthy so we can actually see who would win this out. I think if Chris Paul ends up missing a game or anything like that, it's a huge break for the Lakers. But I guess I'm sticking with Lakers in like 7 now at this point would be my pick. You got a pick for the people, Cart?
Yeah, I'm still not changing up. I think it's Lakers in 6 or 7.
Okay. All right, let's move to the other team in LA. Those front runners, those 0-1 frauds, fake tough guys. You see them flexing. You see them staring down Luka Doncic on the ground while they're losing a 10-point game to the Dallas Mavericks. It's the Clippers. It's the Champagne. Well, I was going to call them the Champagne Clippers, but that's what we call Illinois. Are they Are they the West Coast Illini? Can we flip that?
No? West Coast. I don't even know if I want to. They're not. I don't even know if they're an LA team. Just call them something else. Call them just this. I don't even know the Cali something. Just not. They're not LA's team. I'll tell you that.
There's not many people who get happy or happier than we do seeing the Clippers struggle. I'm happy for the Mavs fans that I've met through the locker room app, especially Lauren Gunn. I know she's enjoying watching this series as it plays out. It's only one game, but this is pretty much what we expected.
Hey, Pat Bev, you are too fucking small. You are too small. And I have questions because this is what there was a group of people who told me that New Balance, cornrowed, quiet, humble, whatever fake, whatever he is that he's the best defender in the NBA. Interesting, because I see someone they're hiding on defense. So I don't know. Maybe someone else, if whoever's listening to this, drop in the comments, let me know. But my eyes don't deceive me. There's a lot of smoke ducking going on out there. And you know what smoke ducking gets you? Down to 1-0. So I'm loving all this. I mean, we've been saying it all year. Everyone's been saying about the Clippers, yes, they do all this in regular season, But when it comes to the playoffs, they can't get it done.
Yeah. So yet another team that I'm questioning their role players too. Like as much as we want to hate on the big names for the Clippers, Kawhi 26-10-5, pretty efficient. Paul George 23-6-5, pretty efficient. Like those two played a good game. You just lost by 10 at home to the Dallas Mavericks. What's going on here? I think the Clippers are missing Lou Williams a little bit, who was a really good third option for them. Just like the Lakers, the Clippers seem to have doubled down on the let's bring in a bunch of old Pistons. Like Luke Kennard's getting paid $14 million a year to get DNP coaches' decisions in the playoffs. Reggie Jackson's playing 21 minutes and giving them 2 and 3 on 1 for 6 from the floor. Like, I just look around. If I'm an LA basketball fan right now, I'm terrified that there's dudes that played for the Pistons for like 7 years that are actively in my rotation as I'm trying to win playoff games right now. It's not a good sign. The Clippers are who we think they are and who we're saying they are. Like, these are front runners, and that's not a joke. It's fun to say, but like, these are dudes who will flex on a guy while they're losing a playoff game.
Bro, not just a guy. Like, they're flexing on Maxi Kleber.
Yeah. There's just no sense of reality here.
And you're down. Like, oh my God. It's like when Timmy did the mustache thing when they were down 30. Like, it's just like, where's the awareness?
Right. It's just not what you want from your basketball team at all. And I wish I knew some real Clippers fans so that we could talk to them about this. But like, do Clippers fans even exist?
I do not know one Clippers fan.
I don't know that there is a Clippers fan in the world. I haven't heard of one. I know Steve Ballmer exists, but like, is there a fan that's not tied in with the organization anywhere? If there is, please reach out to us. We would love
Billy Crystal?
We have some questions.
Is it Billy Crystal?
Is he a Clippers fan?
I think so.
I don't even know that. I guess we'll see.
No chance we're reaching out to Billy Crystal though. So hey, we don't know any Clippers fans.
Okay, again, picks for the series. I'm leaning Mavs now, man.
I am too. I mean,
and maybe in a quick one, maybe like a 4-1, 4-2.
Oh man, if that happens, we're having a starting 5 episode, all 20 minutes, all Clippers, all
just one by one Clippers players, Clippers row session.
I'm about to strap on my boots, all the ammunition. The takes are going to be absolutely flying. Promise you.
Let's pray that it happens. That would be a crowning day for the sleepers. Moving on, another great game last night. Trae Young and the Hawks, buzzer beater, game winner for Trae Young in his first playoff game. The Hawks against the Knicks. This is kind of the fun series where two teams that haven't been there before are feeling each other out. I think you saw a little bit in the first half with that. Mm-hmm. Then they just started throwing blows down the stretch of that game. This was arguably the most exciting game of the weekend, just for a pure basketball game standpoint. Alec Burks was hitting huge shots. The Hawks, to me, are the team that's going to win this series. They're definitely the team I'm rooting for because I have news, Carter. I'm a Trae Young stan a little bit, and I have some things to get off my chest here. But I want to
might be by yourself about that. I mean, I love Trae Young too, but one of the most popular things in the basketball world right now is to not like Trae Young, and because you don't like watching the way he plays basketball.
Okay, can I give my rebuttal to that? Because I think that is fucking ridiculous.
I think it is too. Stop fouling.
Why can't people appreciate who this kid is? I don't understand it at all. Like, is it because his hair looks like the top of that stupid little like lollipop with the hairs on it? Is it something like that? Is it because his voice sounds like there's a real issue there? I don't know what's going on. He's just he's not a marketable superstar. I get that. Except he should be, because the way this kid plays basketball is
fun.
It's really fun. And the only person that I think plays this brand of basketball that we've ever seen is Stephen Curry. And I know that's a really pointed comparison to make, and people don't like going there, but Curry wasn't this far ahead this young. It took Curry a couple years to get here. And who says Trae Young can't improve from where he's at right now, which is his first playoff game debut at the Garden, 30, 10, 5, and a game winner. Like, hey, he's nasty.
Bro, not only the game winner, went to the crowd, say it's real fucking quiet in here.
I just don't get it. All he did in college, all he did at Oklahoma was put on shows. That's all he did. And look, his passing is next level. His shooting is next level. This is a guy you can build a franchise around. And I've heard a lot of people say that you can't win. You can't build a championship team around Trae Young. I disagree. And I'll even go as far as this, Cart. Okay, the Luka Doncic Trae Young trade.
Oh,
I'm gonna go there.
You're going.
Everyone says that's an absolute loss. How could the Hawks have done this? They passed up on a generational superstar. They have their own generational superstar. I'm not saying it's a wash. I would rather have Luka Doncic, but like they got DeAndre Hunter and Trae Young for one pick that turned into Luka Doncic, and Trae Young is doing what Luka Doncic is doing right now.
Hey, there was a lot of people who were waiting for Trae Young to fail yesterday, and he just went out and put on an absolute show. And I think you made a great point. It's not just his passing is unbelievable. Like he's a top tier vision passer, all that. Like the way he was getting to his spots in the pick and roll, the floaters, the lobs to Capella, the one-handed whip across the court passes, the bogey in the corner. Like that was a dominant performance by Trae Young. And this series is just going to be fun in general. I think the Hawks pull it out. I think they got more talent. The Knicks, they're just making it kind of work with what they had. They had an absolute, if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm not losing it too much though. I mean, my MVP candidate, Julius Randle, had it in one of the worst games he's had in a long, long time. But also I need answers from Tom Thibodeau, because there's no way this man put in Frank Ntilikina on the last play of the game to get his ass sauced up by a basic ass left to right and cooked for the game winner. You're telling me that, don't even try to give me that Ntilikina is such a great defender. If he's such a great defender, how come he didn't play the whole game? Like, no way he threw that French man in there to get cooked like that.
Yeah. Some questionable calls. Taking Emmanuel quickly out of the game when he was playing phenomenal was a little strange. Julius Randle was about as bad as I've seen Julius Randle this year, and that bodes well for the Knicks for sure, that you lose a one-possession game with Randle shooting as poorly as he did. But I want people to start loving Trae Young. Like, why do we have to hate? Why? There's that tweet that Kevin Durant had, like, NBA fans really hate everything about the NBA. That's what Trae Young is right now. There's no reason to hate this man. He's a great player. Like, we're going to talk about Ja in just a second, and I'm in the Ja Morant jersey, but like, there's no one saying anything negative about Ja Morant at all. Everyone's rooting for him. Everyone's like, oh, maybe the Pelicans should have taken Ja number one. Like, why can't we get that same love for Trae Young? Because they're doing the same things, totally different style right now. But Trae Young's out here winning playoff games pretty much single-handedly, using the pieces around him. And it's time for people to respect and appreciate him as a guy who could make a playoff run in his, third year in the league, Cart? He's 22 right now?
22.
Long decade of Trae Young success coming forward, people. Wait on it. Also, last thing, Hawks role players. Imagine if the Lakers had those. Imagine if you just gave like Kevin Huerter, Bogdanovich, even like John Collins, like just these dudes who are flying around, knocking shots down, know their role. Like, it's such a difference between watching the Lakers and then watching every other team in the playoffs.
Dude, that shit was fun. I mean, the Lakers would kill for any of those role players. Lou Williams, even Gallinari, any of them dudes.
Dude, all of them. And it's across the board. Every single game I watched, I'm like, wow, 3 or 4 of these dudes would look really nice for the Lakers right now if you're a LeBron fan.
Yeah.
So keep your eye on that, folks. Moving to the Memphis Grizzlies, probably the happiest fan base in basketball right now. They were in the first play-in game. You're just hoping, give them a chance. They win that one. They get to the Warriors. You're thinking, let's just have a fun game. Kind of a win-win. Even if you lose this, you got the experience. They beat the Warriors. Move on. Game 1, the 8 seed against the 1. Donovan Mitchell is out. That line betting did not move. It went from 8.5 to 8 with Donovan Mitchell out. That was fishy. I know you and I jumped all over it. Big win. The Grizzlies dug a huge hole early. They dug right out of it. They built a 10-point lead, and they talked their shit. Like, this team is young. They're tough. They're fun. I'm insanely jealous of what Grizzlies fans have with that team right now.
Fact. Shout out to Sean Coleman on the Grizz. But it's basically this team, they just feel disrespected, basically. I mean, whether they're actually getting disrespected, they probably are in some circles, but it's like sometimes you just got to tell yourself, like these people really think they can fuck with me. It's like when Jordan used to like make up shit about like people talking shit about him just to get him motivated. Like, Dylan Brooks literally thought he was playing by himself last night against every single person in the city of Utah. Like, this dude on both ends was going at everyone and anyone in that stadium. And like, I mean, what is the point of getting a basket if you don't let someone know you gave them a basket? Like, that's one of the best parts about it. So it's just, it's a fun team. And I know people have been critical of Dillon Brooks in the past, and for good reason, because I think sometimes he can kind of get a little oversteps his boundaries somewhat. Like, know your role.
Basically. He doesn't remember that he's Dillon Brooks.
Yeah, sometimes he's like, he needs to remember he is Dillon Brooks.
But listen, there's nothing wrong with being Dillon Brooks. After watching that last night, like, Dillon Brooks should be proud that he's Dillon Brooks. I just think Dillon Brooks thinks he's a totally different Dillon Brooks than he actually is.
Dillon Brooks thinks he is the best player on that team and an all-star. 100%.
And look, if he plays like he did last night, I think people might be okay with that. I don't know. Coach K might have done this as well. Remember the scrap Dillon Brooks and Coach K had in the line at the end of the NCAA tournament game? Maybe Coach K set this path on its existence that we see now. I love the Grizzlies. Super fun to watch. Ja's just so good. I mean, you're just hoping the Pistons end up with someone like that, because he changes the franchise instantly, and he's already so fluid at getting to his spots and the pick and roll and even just ISO. Like, he'll size a guy up on the wing and just get right by him into the paint for those little floaters. He's already got a little bit of a closer gene in him. Like, I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but like down the stretch of that Warriors game.
That Warriors game for sure.
I remember watching that being like, oh, like, Ja's not going to be ready for this. And it was just like, nope, got to my spot floater over and over again. And like, that happened anytime that last night that Utah cut it close. Like, Ja just got to a spot and hit a shot. And I'm starting to think like that's going to be a thing going forward with him. He's super fun to watch. He might be the most fun young superstar in the league right now. And I want to go here, Cart. It's time to put an end to something. It's time to put an end officially to the Jaren Jackson, Ben Carter jokes. We can't do it anymore. I'm sick of it. Like, let's be a little more original. I'm one of the biggest perpetrators of this. I've done this for years, but like, every time Jaren Jackson hits a shot, we don't need to go there, people. You're more talented than that. You're wittier than that. You're funnier than that. Like, Jaren didn't play a good game last night, but he hit that one big three. And you go to Twitter and all my timeline is well, wonder if Ben Carter's going to sub in now. Like, let's just let it go. It had a good 4-year run, and it's time to officially hang it up.
Wow. So we're officially hanging up the Ben Carter Jaren jokes.
It's done. It's done. There's no time for that anymore that hasn't already been said. It's been played out, and it had a great run. Ben Carter, wherever you are, thank you for what you've given to the basketball world. Jaren, it's time to go free. Go be you.
Go be you, Jaren. Hey, I love it. And also, I just want to touch on this with Ja Morant real quick. I think one of the most exciting parts about Ja Morant too is if we've seen anything over the years, then this goes back to college. He's gotten better every single year. Like, imagine Ja Morant as a reliable shooter, because I don't think he's a reliable shooter right now. And I think he could be a reliable shooter. And even if he doesn't, I'm just saying the trajectory of him and his development in his game, it could, like, there's no limit on what he can do. And he's already got it right now, but it's scary to think how much better he could be too.
100%. And last thing, with Ja in general and other guys like Ja right now, this really felt like a new wave, more so than any moment I can remember in the last decade. Like, you had young dudes making their playoff appearances and being the best player on the floor for the first time they've been there. You had Devin Booker, you had Ja Morant, you had Trae Young. Like, this is a new era, and there's stars that are going to carry this decade forward. And I just found myself really enjoying all of it. Like, you kind of expected some jitters from these dudes. You never know who's going to get Paul George syndrome, who's going to be the new playoff guy. And like, right now, the stars are stepping up to the plate, and it's exciting.
Hey, playoff P might be playoff AD now.
Disney.
Hopefully not.
Anything else with playoffs or with basketball you want to get to, Car? We've got one topic left. It's not basketball related, but
just in general, it's fire. And the fans being back in the stands made it so much better. It really did. Like, it was just completely different. Like, that MSG energy was fire. Like, even though the Jazz were having a whiteout, had a little KKK vibes to them, at least the stadium was rocking. I enjoyed watching the games with the fans. And as you said too, I enjoyed watching the young guys, like, and they're like, we finally got to see playoff Book and all these other guys. So I was, I just found myself really enjoying it.
Love it. I agree. I didn't realize how much I missed fans until really the Madison Square game. Like, yeah. It was nuts.
Never take it for granted.
One last thing for me. I have to go back to the Pistons. I'm sorry for non-Pistons fans who are just annoyed by this now, but I have one more point here. All these teams that we just mentioned, all these guys with young superstars that are playing well and winning playoff games. You know what a consistent theme here is? They got their young superstar through the draft, but they didn't rush contending. They were bad for a year. They were bad for another year. They made the right signings. They drafted in to fit around their superstar. They didn't rush things. I see a lot of Pistons fans on my timeline talking about, oh, we get Cade, we're in the play-in next year.
No.
Slow down, folks, because this is the difference between what the Memphis Grizzlies have done with Ja Morant, with Jaren Jackson, and filling in around multiple guys, and what the Charlotte Hornets are trying to do right now, where they got their one guy. They got LaMelo Ball. Sorry again, Maxwell. I know you're going to listen to this. They got LaMelo Ball. But all of a sudden, oh, this was great. We got experience. We're ready to contend now. No, you're not. They're going to get the 11th pick, and they're going to be right in the same spot next year. Like, imagine if the Hornets didn't make the play-in and instead had the 3rd overall pick this year and paired LaMelo with Evan Mobley or with Jalen Suggs. All of a sudden, then they're a problem. That's what the Pistons need. We need to lock in one of these guards, and then we need to be bad one more year so we can get Chet Holmgren, Jalen Duren, Imani Bates. There's dudes.
Facts. I'm with you on that. Don't rush the process, man.
Give me one more year exactly like this one, and then 2 years from now, we'll hit the playoffs. Facts. One more big sporting event over the weekend, and another one that was really visibly, you could feel the crowd being there. Phil Mickelson goes out and wins the PGA Championship, the oldest person to win a major. He's 50 years old. Totally unexpected. Everyone I talked to over the weekend that is a golf fan at any level was fully expecting Phil to melt down. He was a huge underdog on the betting lines this weekend. Every single round, he was like a plus 200 underdog to win the round against whoever he was paired up with. And he just went out and played great golf consistently. He had a couple shady moments, but he chipped in, had the bunker shot, ends up winning by 2 strokes. He was up 4 to 5 strokes for most of the final round, just as he was the day before. This was honestly never really close. What are your thoughts? Are you a Phil fan?
To be honest, I'm not like the biggest Phil fan in general. He's a good golfer, but he doesn't really have like the type of swag that I like to watch as a golfer. Like he's like a Taj Gibson of golf, not in the way he actually plays, but just like
give the thumbs up.
Yeah, just not really feeling him. But I mean, that's crazy to win a major at 50, and he was hooping the whole time. Like I would actually put a bet at the start of the tournament that Phil would miss the cut. But so shout out to him. It was hype to watch all that and watch the fans do that. And it's always great when my boy G can win himself a bet too with the nice live Phil Mickelson line. So
this was one of the most disrespectful live lines or lines at all that I've ever seen. Phil took a 5-stroke lead with 27 holes left to play midway through Saturday afternoon. And on the live line, he was plus 600 to win the tournament still with a 5-stroke lead with 27 holes left. Now, I placed that bet, and then he immediately hit it into the water and ended up only with a 1-stroke lead at the end of the round. But, like, still, 5 strokes in a tournament, you throw any other name behind that, they're probably even money at that point. So I did jump on it. I got myself a nice little chunk of change. Much needed, much appreciated. So shout out to Phil. But I do have to say, I learned to like the game of golf from my in-laws, my brother-in-law specifically, who's a great golfer. And I've never seen a family in general hate an athlete more than they hate Phil Mickelson. So as I was watching this unfold last night, I was just picturing his misery the whole time. He came up, they were in Chicago for the weekend. We were watching their dog. They picked the dog up right as the round was starting. He saw I had golf on. He was like, Kepka's going to just wipe the floor with this idiot. I'm like, I hope not. I got a ticket on Phil. And then you saw what happened. So
Great to watch. Hey, watch more golf, people. Trust
Watch
me.
more golf. And Cart, I think the people do need an update. We got the prediction from Jason Funk on the number you were going to shoot over the weekend. You played some golf. You hit the course only an hour away from where the PGA Championship was, by the way.
Yeah, we did.
What'd
And
you shoot?
the way I was golfing, I almost shot over there thinking, man, I get a late entry. Best round of the cartel's life. Give me like 2 or 3 more months. I'll be ready to hit the course and competitively play against somebody else. But as of right now, I am a great scramble player. I'm a good role player. I can do what I need to do. You will use some of my shots and you will have a good time.
Man City, Chelsea, Champions League final next weekend. I will be in Milwaukee for this, so we cannot watch together. But best believe I will be bringing the kit with me, the Pulisic kit. We will find a bar, and it will be televised. The revolution will be televised, Cart. What's how are you feeling going into this? We've got the bet on the line.
Feeling good, honestly. I don't like the way your boys have been looking lately, so I'm good. I'm feeling good.
Look, it's a fair concern. Our form's not the greatest, but some would say we're just a little more focused on the bigger task at hand right now. Like, oh, next year's Champions League, who cares? We're in the final right now. Like, we need to focus all our attention and efforts on beating City. I think that's where our hearts, our minds are at, and we're going to shock the world.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. Get ready. Get your running shoes on.
I'm going to see you on the pitch. 90 minutes. I have been running just to warm myself up.
Yeah, to prepare yourself. Yep, get ready. It's happening.
Oh, Cart. All right. Have a good week, my friend. We'll be back. We'll shoot another starting 5 before Friday.
Yep, for sure. Peace.